Hey everybody, Lisa Zabaniak here from lifelikeyoumeanit.com, coming to you live to share some more NLP strategies to change your life. And today we are talking about how energy flows where attention goes. So what does that mean? We've all heard these different expressions and different people telling us that we need to stay positive, right? And that if you're thinking positive, then you'll see positive things happening around you. And that's really what this quote means. But I just want to be clear that somebody who is positive or has a positive mindset, it's not that they don't see any kind of negativity. It's not that they don't have any negativity. It's not that they don't experience negative events in their life. They are able to actually see that negative event, acknowledge that it exists, but they know deep down inside that tomorrow is another day, that even if this is a large event that's going to take quite some time to work their way through, the person with the positive mindset understands that this too shall pass, that eventually they will be in a position where they will be looking back on this experience and they will be chuckling or looking at it even with fondness and saying, wow, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for that experience that happened. So the point of trying to make sure that our energy is in alignment with what we want is really just that, self-explanatory. If you don't believe in spirituality and energy work and whatnot, that's fine, because you can look at this from a very logical standpoint and you can say, listen, if my unconscious mind and my conscious mind are focusing on negative things, then that's the eyes that I am looking through. Those are the lenses that I'm looking through in all of my experiences. That includes every conversation that I have, every decision that I make, every single thing, not just big events and experiences, right? All the little ones, all throughout the day as well. And so if you are thinking negative and you're feeling very negative, then you're more likely to see what is happening around you as negative. So even though there might be quite a lot of positive around you, you're actually so focused on the negative that you can't see the positive, or even worse yet, you're twisting the positive into something negative because that is what actually suits your narrative more. So what we want to do when we catch ourselves doing this type of thing is we want to acknowledge it first and foremost. Awareness is always key, right? You can't fix what you don't know is broken, as they say. But acknowledge it and understand that it's okay to feel negative. It's okay to be hurt or upset or angry or any of the gamut of emotions. You don't have to always be experiencing things with a big smile on your face. So acknowledge where you're at in that moment and then look a little bit deeper and ask yourself, okay, why am I experiencing it this way? Why am I choosing to look at this in this way? Is there any other way that I can look at this? And I've got my puppy chewing on my pant leg right now, if you could hear any growls in the background. But you want to be able to, first of all, honor what it is that you are feeling, because as soon as you start to put yourself down for feeling negative or anxious or sad or, anything that is not what you consider to be positive, then we're just focusing more on the negative again. So first is to be aware of how you're feeling. Second is to acknowledge that it's okay and honor yourself for allowing yourself to feel that way. And then start reminding yourself of all the other times in your life when things were looking bleak, you were experiencing them negatively, and now you can look back on those times with much more fondness and positivity and understand that you are at the place that you're at right now because of that experience, right? When I look back at my divorce, for example, obviously not a pleasant time in my life, very negative time. But what got me through that was knowing that eventually I was going to get to a place where I would look back and say, I'm actually grateful for this series of events because I wouldn't be where I am now had that not have happened. And that's exactly where I am today, remarried with two beautiful stepsons, living in an entire different country on a different continent, no less, doing a completely different career, right? My life couldn't be any different. And it also couldn't be any better, right? Nothing against my ex-husband. I cherish that time that I had with him. I'm very grateful for our marriage and even just knowing him. But I knew that I would get to a point like this at some point, right? And I didn't pressure myself for how long that would take. And it did take several years, right? But that's every time that I got down about it and really was feeling negative, remind myself that energy is flowing where my attention is going. So even if I'm unable to actually, find something to make me smile and totally change my thinking, if I've got nothing else, then what I do have is the knowledge that one day I will look back on this with fondness for myself, for what I was feeling, fondness for the experience, for pushing me forward and allowing me to get to where I will be eventually. And how did I know that I was going to be able to do that? Because of all of my past experiences in my entire life, right? My 10 years of child abuse that I went through, bullying that I went through, suicidal thoughts that I went through, but even all the little things, right? Moving to a different city and being homesick, losing some friends along the way just because there wasn't the internet back then, and that felt kind of poopy as well. And right, so there's lots of things that everybody goes through that is negative at that time, and then at some point later you look back and you say, you know what, that wasn't so bad. Or, you know what, actually, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be inspired to go down this route. And because I went down this route, this is what my life is like now, right? And any kind of in between of those kind of extremes. And so being able to just do a little bit of self-reflection and realize that I have faced other things before and I have got through them. And on the other side, looked at those experiences completely differently, even with gratitude. So when I'm in a difficult experience now, that is what I hold on to, right? So that thought alone and that undying knowing that that will be me in a few weeks or months or years or whatever it is, right? Like coronavirus, for example, COVID-19 and this whole pandemic. It's terrible, us all going through this and having to be in lockdown, and people that have lost people and they're afraid for their health and all kinds of different things that we're experiencing, people losing jobs and their income and all the rest of it. And at some point, all of us, it will be a different point for everybody, but at some point we will all look back and say, wow, do you remember when we went through that? You know what? I did learn this and that and the other. And you know what? It did get me thinking about starting this business, or get me thinking about, I'm not really happy in the work that I'm doing, or whatever it is, right? We'll all have moments that we can look back on this difficult time and actually realize that that propelled us forward onto whatever our path is going to be in the future. So remembering that energy flows where attention goes. It's not about putting yourself down for how you're feeling and not allowing yourself to feel anything negative, but instead it's about honoring yourself. First and foremost, becoming aware of what you're feeling in the first place, then honoring the fact that you have those feelings, and then looking at the situation and saying, how can I shift so that my energy is looking more on the positive, that I can start focusing on the things I want rather than focusing on the things that I'm lacking or the things I don't want in my life, knowing that if you focus on the things that you do want, you're more likely to see opportunity in all of your experiences. If you're focusing on the things you don't want, then you're more likely to see exactly that in all of your experiences. It's always about awareness, and it's always about choice and honoring yourself. I hope that that helped. Jump on over to lifelikeyoumeanit.com/calendar and sign up for your free 30-minute discovery call with me and figure out how NLP will change your life. Bless